Today's video is all about meal prep for your midweek blues. What is up, you guys? My name is Kira if you are new, and in today's video we are talking about super easy meal prep perfect for your midweek blues. I feel like in the middle of the week we all get stressed out. That's why it's called hump day, right? Because we start to get overwhelmed by all the things that we've already done for the week and then everything that's still coming up, and we feel like we can't meal prep in the middle of the week because it has to be this huge process, right? You have to get so much done. You have to have a huge meal prepping list. It only has to be on the weekends to set you up for a week of success. Well, that's just not true, because I feel like sometimes we can do things in just little itty bitty increments, just an hour here or there, that'll still keep your family set up for success, whether it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday for that matter. So I have our staples to share with you guys, like our salads that we like to make that just carry us through the week. But then I'm also sharing with you guys a few things I've not shared before. A bunch of you asked how I make my twice baked potatoes, so I decided to meal prep them for an upcoming meal, and I made them to share with you guys, and then I froze them for when we're going to use them. And then I also made some homemade dog treats, so I'm sharing with you guys how I do that along with some other things. So I'm going to take you down to my counter. I even have some clips that are so old, they're from my old rental house, but I threw those in too. But I have clips from a while ago, I have clips from now, just a wide variety of things to show you guys that meal prepping can be easy and fun too. Since the point of this video is hump day, super easy kind of meal prep, one of the go-tos for that kind of quick and easiness is hard-boiled eggs. They are so nutritious, they're perfect for a snack, and they're great for meal prep because there's seriously a zillion things that you can do with them. And I don't cook my eggs in any other way but the Instant Pot. It is super easy, and all you need to do is add 1 cup's worth of water to the bottom of your Instant Pot so it can come to pressure. You put the little trivet in, and then you load in as many eggs as you desire. I try to squeeze in literally as many as I possibly can, which is 14. Like, that's the most that I can get jammed in there, sticking with the general size of a large egg. So if you get smaller eggs, you might be able to get more in there than that, but 14 is the best that I get. And I find that the 5-5-5 method works the best for me. I have tried other ways. I've tried less time, more time. 5-5-5 seems to just work perfect. So after it comes to pressure and it goes for 5 minutes, you're going to go ahead and let them sit for 5 minutes, and then you're going to put them in an ice bath for 5 minutes. Now, once that 5 minutes is up, I find that they are super easy to shell, but I do like to shell them underneath that cold water. I just keep feeding water underneath and underneath the shell, and it just kind of seems to make a smooth transition. So once I go ahead and peel all of my eggs, I usually separate them. I'll put some in a canister, and I like to keep my eggs dry. I think the key to putting anything in the refrigerator and wanting to preserve it to last as long as possible is to keep it as dry as possible. Any moisture ends up removing some shelf life. So the key is definitely adding in some paper towel to that canister. So I went ahead and put 8 of those hard-boiled eggs in that canister with the paper towel, and we'll use those for salads, for snacking, for snack boxes, anything else. Like I said, it's really good hearty protein, and I happen to love grabbing a hard-boiled egg as a snack other than anything else. And then with what's left, which was 6 additional ones, I went ahead and chop them. I love my little egg slicer. It's linked in my Amazon store below. It is super cheap and completely effective when trying to get a good dice on your eggs. And I went ahead and threw that in a bowl with a little bit of crushed black pepper and some mayo. I do not add salt when I add mayo to anything just because I feel like it is salty enough, but I do like a good hearty amount of black pepper. And so once I went ahead and added those ingredients, I just put that inside of a Tupperware, and now I'll be able to eat egg salad out of that all week. Now, salads are definitely a go-to for me when I want that quick and easy meal prep, something like the egg salad, chicken salad, or here I have a tuna salad, which happens to be one of my husband's favorites. I know I've mentioned to you guys before that he has a seafood allergy, but tuna was always one of his favorite things. So when he had a seafood reaction, we were completely shocked because what you see on this cutting board right here is green apple. And that was always my husband's little sneak trick that he did to his tuna fish that made it something he really enjoyed. We add a little bit of red onion, we add some garlic powder, a little bit of salt and pepper, some mayo, and it just makes the most incredible tuna salad. And it used to be his favorite thing. And so this was always a complete shock to us that he had this kind of reaction. So he wanted to try again. And one of the things that I noticed, and a huge key to keeping any kind of reaction down for him, is really draining the tuna. So you have to squeeze the heck out of it. I get the one in water and I really squeeze as much of the moisture out as I possibly can. And then I throw it in the bowl with that diced red onion, with that green apple, with the garlic powder, with the black pepper. You can add salt if you like. Some people still like to salt their salad. Like I said, I just feel like mayo is pretty salty on its own, but you totally can add salt at this spot and then just give it a mix, you guys. Super easy tuna salad, but so delicious. And I do add a little bit of extra mayo because I find when it sits, it absorbs a little bit and it kind of dries out. But now you can see here that on this quick day, all I had was an hour, and it gave me enough time to make the hard-boiled eggs, then to whip up some egg salad, and then enough tuna fish for my husband and I to each have a couple of sandwiches throughout the week. And this was super effective for our family. We had go-to things to eat. And again, this was just 1 hour of time. So you don't have to be intimidated by meal prep that you need this whole big day. 1 hour, and we got a bunch of salads and some hard-boiled eggs. Now this I just shared with you guys because I know you know how to make Rice Krispie treats, but I figured it would be cool to show you how fun it was to use these Lucky Charms marshmallows that we got. My mom had sent them to the kids for, I think, Halloween, like part of their little Halloween gift, and they were red, green, blue, and yellow with all the shapes of Lucky Charms. But what are you going to do with those kinds of marshmallows? So I had a fun time with the kids and I made them separate them for me. They sat at the table and they had lots of fun making piles of blues and reds and greens and yellows. And I said, okay, let's do red and green and we'll make them and we'll freeze them for Christmas time, which is what we ended up doing. And we put them in those little snack boxes that we gave out to Daryl's employees. And then the blue and yellow one, we decided we would put aside because this was right before Mason's birthday. And so we'll freeze them and we'll pull the blue and yellow ones out for his birthday. So I have Rice Krispies here, 2 sticks of butter, since we're going to do 2 separate batches, the red and green and the blue and yellow, and those colorful marshmallows, of course. So we started with that red and green, and I just throw this in the microwave for like a minute. And then once it gets melty and ooey gooey, I just go ahead and throw in Rice Krispies until I feel like it reaches a good consistency. I don't know, I'm not much of a recipe follower. I like to just go until I feel that it works. So I think I put 3 cups in here. I think the traditional recipe is 1 stick of butter to 6 cups. So I kind of felt like I might have messed this up when I first did it, but it worked out good and it tasted fine and it completely solidified the way that it should. But at first I was like, not really sure, but with a little taste test, it worked out great. I evened it out inside of a 9x13 and we just let that sit until it got hard, and then we just cut it into pieces and we put that away for, like I said, for Christmas time. And that was perfect when we were getting ready to make those boxes. I was pulling stuff out of the freezer that I had been making for so long that I definitely didn't feel overwhelmed, but they came out awesome, and you can definitely tell that they were just red and green. Now on this day, I also made some pasta sauce. I didn't share that with you guys because I have a huge recipe video where 2 actually on my channel where I share making my sauce. I just shared how I made it in a vlog recently, so I don't really break it down in a meal prep video, but you can see that we went ahead and put the blue and yellow one together, which was kind of cool because it almost made them green, but you can see blue and yellow and green. I thought those ones were super cool, and like I said, we went ahead and froze them. We forgot to pull them out for Mason's birthday, so we ended up just pulling them out like a weekend after, and poof, we had Rice Krispies treats for the kids to enjoy. But here was us using the sauce. I always make enough for the meal that night, and then I usually get 3 containers. A large container, which is good for a pasta, which is like the equivalent to a jar. Something smaller that works perfect for topping like a chicken parm or a meatball hero, and then a small container, which we can use for either pizza, mozzarella sticks, something like that. So here we go, a whole separate day, and on that day we got 2 things of Rice Krispie treats done and a whole bunch of sauce. All right, so now I want to share with you something else that I'm going to have linked in my Amazon store, but this is a company that reached out to me by the name of K-Nell, and they're just an Amazon company, and I felt like I really wanted to give them a try. I feel like a lot of Amazon companies are always trying to reach out and get their name out there, but nobody really wants to try the no-name company, right? But sometimes those are some of the best items. And so when they asked me to search their website to see what I wanted to choose, I ended up choosing this griddle. And I chose this griddle because you guys know how I feel about my copper stuff, but these handles come off so that it makes it easy for cleaning. There's just a little button on the bottom and both handles pop right off so that you can stick it in the sink and wash it down, which I thought was ingenious because that's the one thing I hate doing with my griddle that I already have, is sticking it in the sink and trying to navigate how to clean it. It came with a super sturdy plug with your temperature gauge on it, and it goes up to 450 degrees. In their user guide, they do break down their recommended temperatures for the things that you cook, but you'll see that I just kind of like to play with my devices on their own and find out where their hot spots are. And there's nothing better than trying out a new appliance, especially something like a griddle, with good old pancakes, because you can judge by their coloring where the griddle runs hot, where there's cool spots, where you're able to work with it. And I've never worked with a surface this big. You guys, I got 8 pancakes across. I've never been able to do that. Now, I always put some kind of lubricant down. I mean, you guys tell me, even in my copper pans where it said no need for you to put any kind of, oil or butter on the pan, like there's no need for it, I still did it anyways. I don't know. I hate stickage. So I did put a little bit of olive oil spray on there, but you can see after one flip that top corner runs a little bit hot where the opposing corner runs a little bit cool. So now I know that I put it on one way and then I'm going to remove from the other side. Like I was just trying to play out my appliance and see how it works. So I made 8 regular pancakes. We did 8 blueberry pancakes. And then coming up right now, I decided to do some fun ones for the kids. I thought I had colored sprinkles, like the plain old regular rainbow sprinkles that you would get off like an ice cream truck, but I guess I used them all. So I decided to go the chocolate route, and I put a little bit of chocolate chips in there and then a little pinch of chocolate sprinkles. And the kids had so much fun with those. Of course, those are the ones that went that night for dinner. Everybody ate those ones, and we still have plain and blueberry in the freezer. So that's something I love to do when it comes to any kind of breakfast meal prep, is that's what we have for dinner that night. And then I make extra while I'm already cooking, and then we just go ahead and stick it in the freezer for future meal prep. And it just kills 2 birds with 1 stone. So here I am at the sink, and I wanted to share with you guys like how easy that was. Did you see, like 1, 2, 3, those handles popped right off, and then I was able to put this in the sink and wash it down completely, and it really just was so easy. So I'll leave all their information, like they'll be linked in my Amazon store if you guys want to go ahead and check them out. But it's always good to support the small business, and they have amazing stuff. I have something else that I'm going to share with you guys from this company in an upcoming video. They sent me more than just this copper griddle, but it really didn't fit in this video, so I'm going to share it in something else. But they just have so many really awesome things for a great price. But this isn't sponsored, that's just my personal opinion, so you guys go over, check them out, and make the decision for yourself. All right, twice baked potatoes. You guys said, some of you said, I've never even had a twice baked potato before. What does that mean? So I have some big, large baking potatoes, like russet baking potatoes, that I poked with a fork and stuck them in the oven at 400 degrees for 45 minutes. And then I cut them in half and I let them cool in the fridge overnight, or you can just do it for a couple of hours. I just had the time, so I meal prepped it the day before, but you do whatever you need to do. But once they are good and cool, then you're going to go ahead and take a spoon and you're going to scoop the insides out. Now, because they're cold and the way that they cooked, you'll be able to easily completely scrape out that potato and still leave you with a shell. And now once you're all done taking all the potatoes out of your shells, and you can decide how many potatoes you want times 2. If you make 5, you're going to get 10, and so on and so forth. And then now you can just use the insides to make potatoes however you want. So I put a couple of tablespoons of butter. I cooked up 2 pieces of bacon that I chopped and put in there, and then added the grease that came from it at the same time. I also added heavy cream, and you'll see that I add a little bit of milk. I add some salt and pepper, and then I put it on my hand blender, and I try and whip it and get it as creamy as possible. It does take a little while, and the more milk the better, so that you can just keep working it till you reach your desired consistency. But once you mix it up and you say to yourself, okay, this is how I like my mashed potatoes, well, then you're going to go ahead and fold in some cheddar cheese. Like, it can't get any better than this, right? And you guys also could fold in some green onions. That's what I would have done if it was just for mine, but not everybody likes that. But for me, I would have absolutely loved adding in some green onions. But now once your mixture is completely to where you want it to be flavor profile wise, now we're going to go back and fill those potatoes on the inside. Like I have Creed going in the back on my phone right there. Comment down below, let me know if you guys like Creed. I hadn't heard them in a really long time. I heard a song on the radio, and then it just made me want to listen to their whole album. All right, once you have all of your potatoes filled, I just went and topped it with a little bit of paprika. If you have smoked paprika, that would work fine as well. And then you're going to stick them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 15-20 minutes. Obviously the potatoes are already cooked, but you're just trying to get those mashed potatoes cooked all the way through, and then that cheese melty. But holy cow, you guys, if you have not ever eaten a potato like that, you need to try it. All right, now I'm on to a quick meal prep snack. I've shared this in a food hack video before, but Jake fell in love with them so much that he wanted me to make them again. So no, this is not a food hack video. This is a meal prep video, but these are super easy, and they're called Better Than Crack crackers. So they're actually very similar to those spicy crackers that Vanessa made in our first cookbook, but you're just altering the flavors just a tiny bit, and you're using oyster crackers, which makes it perfect for just a handful. So I poured in 1 bag of oyster crackers into a bowl, and then you add 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. You add 2 heaping tablespoons of ranch mix, and then 1 teaspoon of some kind of spicy, your choice. We use chipotle pepper, like chipotle seasoning, and holy cow, the chipotle with the ranch, it's just a game changer. And so then you're going to go ahead on 300 degrees and stick it on a sheet pan and put it in the oven for like 15-20 minutes, and you're going to let them get good and toasty and crispy. And then when you come back, you end up having like your own homemade Cheez-It, but with this really delicious flavor. The ranch and the chipotle make such a surprisingly tasteful seasoning. Now, even if you don't like spicy, these are not spicy. Mason doesn't like spicy at all, but he had these on his lunch tray yesterday. Like, he still really enjoys them. And once they cool, I just put them in a container, and then the kids eat on them like they would any other kind of snack out of the pantry. But it was really super easy to make it. It's like 98 cents, you guys, for oyster crackers, and we all have the rest of the ingredients on hand. So give it a try. And then speaking of something you should totally give a try, I don't have a recipe for without Trader Joe's help, but I did tell you guys in my Trader Joe's haul all the way back in December that the next time I did a meal prep video with you guys, I would share with you how to make these dog biscuits. So this is just a dog biscuit mix that I got from Trader Joe's, and it gives you different options for different flavors that you can mix in and make of this dog biscuit mix. And I decided to go with apple and peanut butter. So you put the mix into a bowl, and then you add 1 cup of applesauce, and I did cinnamon applesauce, and then you do a 1/4 cup of peanut butter. It does take a little while to really work this together. I mean, you're using the applesauce is wet, but peanut butter is just hard to really navigate, and especially since I keep mine in the fridge. But after you get it good and stirred, and then you work it with your hands and you get a good dough ball, I just wrapped mine in a little bit of wax paper and stuck it in the fridge for a couple of hours for it to get really chill. And then once it was good and ready to go, I just stuck another piece of wax paper over it, and I used a rolling pin, and I tried to roll it out to get it to be at least the size of that wax paper. I thought maybe that would be a good density because you want a nice hearty, I guess, dog biscuit, but you also didn't want them to be too hard for you to get that crispy texture, because dogs don't really want that soft cookie, right? Dog biscuits are more on the hard side. So once I got it rolled out, I decided to use a heart-shaped cookie cutter because I figured it was February and I want to show my dogs some love, and I don't have a bone one, or I would have done that, but I didn't. So I decided to choose a heart, and they smelled so good. Even though you use some kind of mix already, you also used applesauce and peanut butter, and there was cinnamon in the applesauce, so it smelled like these would be really, really good regardless. And I love the way they looked, because in texture they literally look like a dog biscuit. And I put them on parchment paper, and then you stuck them in the oven for 350 degrees for 15 minutes, and then you flip them over and you cook them for another 15 minutes. And then when they came out, they were perfectly crispy. I let them cool for a little bit, and then I stuck them in a jar. I ended up getting 2 sheet pans and then another one, so 3 full sheet pans full of these little hearts, and I have a whole jar now filled with these homemade heart-shaped cookies that I made for the dogs all by myself, which I think is amazing. But that is it, you guys, for another meal prep video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. Again, the whole point of this video was to share with you guys that it really doesn't have to be something super complicated. Sometimes the most simple of things can really just help make our lives a whole bunch easier. So I hope you got some ideas, or I hope it inspired you to get up and to get some things prepped to make our lives successful and easier for ourselves and our family. Don't forget to check out K-Now in the description box below and in my Amazon store so you can see what they have to offer. I love you guys so much. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.